The ghost who couldn't stop counting, the true story behind the ring. So before we start, I need you to picture this. It's late at night in Japan, sometime during the Edo period. There's this massive white castle sitting under the moonlight, completely silent. No wind, no voices, nothing. And then suddenly, a woman's voice, soft at first. Ichimai, 1 plate. Nimai, 2 plates. Sanmai, 3 plates. The voice keeps counting slowly, calmly, almost mechanically. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then silence. Not peaceful silence either. The kind of silence where your stomach drops because you know something is wrong. And then crying. Deep, heartbreaking sobbing coming from inside a dark well. I'm getting chills already. What makes this story even scarier is that this isn't just some random internet creepypasta. This ghost story has existed in Japan for more than 400 years. And if you've ever watched The Ring and saw that horrifying image of a pale woman with long black hair crawling out of a well, yeah, that image came from this story. This is the story of Okiku. Once you hear the full story, it stops feeling like a ghost tale and starts feeling like something way sadder. Because underneath all the horror, this is really a story about abuse, power, trauma, and a woman who was destroyed simply for saying no. And that's what makes it stick with people for centuries. So our story takes place during the Edo period in Japan. This era started in 1603 after Tokugawa Ieyasu unified the country and established the Tokugawa shogunate. Now, historically, people describe the Edo period as this peaceful golden age. Japan was stable, art flourished, poetry, kabuki theatre, tea ceremonies, elegant culture everywhere. But beneath all that beauty was an incredibly strict social system. And I think this is what people miss sometimes when romanticizing old Japan. It looked beautiful, but socially it was brutal. Your entire life was determined by your class. Samurai were at the top, merchants and craftsmen underneath, servants and peasants near the bottom. And if you were a servant woman, you basically had no power at all. You couldn't fight back against wealthy men. You couldn't accuse your master of abuse. You couldn't really protect yourself. So when we talk about Okiku, I need you to understand something. This wasn't a woman living in a world where justice protected her. This was a woman living in a system designed to silence her. And the setting for all this was Himeji Castle. If you've never seen it before, it's honestly breathtaking. Huge white walls, elegant rooftops, cherry blossoms surrounding it in spring. People call it the White Heron Castle because it almost looks like a bird taking flight. Tourists visit it today because it's considered one of the most beautiful castles in Japan. But man, I always think places become scarier when they're beautiful. Because then you start imagining what happened behind those walls. The smiles, the secrets, the violence nobody talked about. And somewhere inside this massive castle complex, there was a servant girl named Okiku. Different versions of the story describe her differently. Some say she was an orphan. Some say her family had fallen into poverty. Some say she was unusually beautiful. But every version agrees on one thing. Okiku was loyal. She worked hard. She was careful, quiet, respectful. The kind of person who tries to avoid trouble completely. And among all her responsibilities, there was one task considered incredibly important. She was entrusted with 10 precious porcelain plates. Now, these weren't normal dishes. These were expensive heirlooms belonging to a samurai household. Losing even one could be considered a massive offense. So every day, Okiku performed the same ritual. She'd carefully take them out one by one. Ichimai, 1 plate. Nimai, 2 plates. Sanmai. And she'd continue until all 10 were accounted for, every single day. And I think psychologically, repetition like that becomes part of your identity, especially when your survival depends on never making mistakes. Some people listening probably know that feeling, when you become hyper-careful because one mistake could ruin your entire life. That pressure changes people, and for Okiku, counting became almost sacred. Until one day, there were only 9. This is where the story becomes darker. Because according to most versions of the legend, the missing plate wasn't an accident. It was a trap. One version says a samurai retainer wanted leverage over Okiku. Another says her master became obsessed with her and wanted to force her into a sexual relationship. Either way, the result is the same. A powerful man wanted control over a powerless woman. And when she rejected him, he punished her. That's the part that really makes me uncomfortable about this story, because it's so human. This isn't supernatural horror yet. This is literally abuse of authority. And sadly, that part never became outdated. So one of the plates disappeared. Some stories say it was hidden. Others say the master intentionally smashed it and threw the pieces into the well. Then he accused Okiku of theft. Imagine the panic. She starts recounting them over and over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then her stomach just drops, because there's no 10th plate. I can't even imagine that feeling, honestly, especially knowing the punishment for theft during that period could literally be death. Then came the offer. The master basically told her, "If you obey me, I'll forgive you." And Okiku refused, again, which probably made him even angrier. Because abusive people often can't handle rejection, especially from someone they view as beneath them. That rejection becomes an insult to their ego. What happened next depends on which version you read, but none of them are easy to hear. Okiku was beaten, interrogated, humiliated. Some versions say she was tied up and suspended over the well. Others say her master cut off her middle finger, the finger she used to count the plates. That detail specifically is horrifying, because it wasn't just punishment, it was symbolic. It was meant to destroy her identity and like saying, you exist to serve, you exist to count. And now even that will be taken from you. That's so cruel, and this is where the story stops feeling like a ghost story to me and starts feeling tragic. Because what really haunted people wasn't just her death, it was injustice. People can accept death sometimes, but injustice, that lingers. Eventually, unable to endure any more suffering, Okiku either escaped confinement or was driven to complete despair. And she jumped into the well. Some stories say she screamed all the way down. Others say nobody even noticed until it was too late. Either way, that dark well became her grave. And this is where the legend truly starts. Because after Okiku died, people began hearing her voice at night, coming from the well. Soft, repetitive, empty. Ichimai, Nimai, Sanmai. Every night, always the same. She'd count all the way to 9 and stop, then cry, not scream, not attack people, it'd just cry. Honestly, that's somehow sadder. Like her spirit wasn't seeking revenge, it was trapped. And this is what I think makes Japanese horror so psychologically disturbing compared to Western horror sometimes. A lot of Western horror is about violence. Japanese horror is often about emotional suffering that never ends. Trauma becoming eternal. A curse not because someone is evil, but because pain became too heavy to disappear. That's terrifying in a completely different way. People claimed they saw her near the well wearing a white burial kimono. Long black hair covering her face, pale skin, thin fingers. Always counting, always searching for the missing plate, always failing. And this imagery became iconic in Japanese horror culture for centuries. Long black hair, water, a wronged female spirit. That image appears everywhere now. But Okiku was one of the originals. Now this next part is honestly one of the creepiest sections of the legend. Several months after Okiku's death, the master's wife gave birth to a baby girl. At first, everyone celebrated, but when the father saw the baby, he froze. because the child was missing her middle finger. The same finger Okiku allegedly lost during torture. And okay, whether you believe in curses or not, that would absolutely destroy someone psychologically. Imagine living with that guilt every day. Every time you look at your own child, you're reminded of what you did. That's horrifying. I totally wouldn't say he deserved that. Eventually, word spread about what happened to Okiku. And surprisingly, in some versions of the story, the master actually lost his status and land, which was extremely rare, because servants usually had almost no social value in feudal Japan. So for authorities to punish a samurai over a servant girl, people genuinely believed something deeply wrong had happened. But even after punishment, the haunting continued. New families moved into the castle. Years passed, still the counting continued. 1, 2, 3, 9, crying, again and again. Finally, one family decided they couldn't live like this anymore. So they brought in a Buddhist monk named Ryoyo Shonin. And I love this part of the story because it completely changes the emotional tone. The monk sits beside the well at night waiting. The counting begins. 1 plate, 2 plates, 3 plates. The ghost gets closer and louder. People nearby are terrified. The monk keeps listening carefully. Then, finally, 9 plates. Silence. The moment before the crying begins. And before Okiku can start sobbing, the monk shouts, "Jumai!" 10 plates. And according to the legend, Okiku stopped. For the first time, she looked toward the monk, smiled and said, "Ah, I'm happy." Then vanished forever. Man. That part genuinely gets me, because after all the horror, what finally frees her isn't violence, it's compassion. Someone finally completed the count for her. Someone finally acknowledged her suffering instead of exploiting it. That's beautiful in such a sad way. Over the centuries, Okiku became one of Japan's most famous ghost stories. Her tale was adapted into kabuki theater, books, folklore, movies, everything. And eventually, modern Japanese horror borrowed heavily from her imagery. Most famously, The Ring. Sadako crawling from the well with long black hair. Yeah, that absolutely traces back to Okiku. And honestly, once you know the history, Japanese horror becomes even scarier. Because so much of it isn't random monsters. It's generational trauma, women betrayed, people abandoned, pain trapped in physical places. The stories feel close to reality as you know the truth. What really stayed with me about this story isn't the ghost, it's the counting. Because trauma actually works like that sometimes. People relive moments over and over, repeating the same memory, the same fear, the same guilt, trying to mentally fix something that can't be undone. And Okiku became the literal embodiment of that loop. A woman destroyed by abuse, trapped forever in the final moment of panic that ruined her life. That's terrifying. But it's also deeply human. And maybe that's why her story survived for more than 400 years. Not because people fear wells, not because they fear ghosts, but because people understand suffering. And because somewhere deep down, everyone knows what it feels like to be trapped by something they can't let go of. So yeah, the next time you see that image in horror movies, pale woman, black hair, crawling from darkness, remember, she was just a servant girl named Okiku, counting plates.